Good evening, guys. كرفان بيض نمشي نبي Today, I've been asked to present today's lesson and exercises from last week. Mark, can you remind us exactly what we went over last week in terms of the lesson?
Sure. The major part is share. Where is share? Share is called the habitual, which is stating a fact, basically present tense in the sense of truth and claims rather than an action. So the sun rises from the east. If I say share, the sun rises from the east, that means I'm just stating a fact. It could be sunset, but it's still a fact. But if I use the present, so the sun, and then I'll just use the word shai for rises from the east, it just means it's actually the sun is rising. That's the difference between present and habitual. Habitual is more of a fact. They call him they call him John. No one is calling him right now. There's no one calling his name. It's just like that's what he's called in general. There's a difference between them. It's a nice way to separate different parts of present. So that's the biggest part. And then we learned the emphasis. You can emphasize a sentence in many ways. Oh, and then we learned improv. It has, just like the past, it has a different way of doing the past. By I mean in the past, as in like we say like off, and you have like impef. Here you have shraf, and you have impas. So it's not like other thing. We just put an on or an n. I think which makes it a tripartite tense. So again, you can add any of the converters that we learned about to it. Then how do we emphasize stuff? By either repeating the pronoun. So it's like saying I'm not here. And then or it's for you, like you. So emphasize by repeating. Also learned about is and hepe. It just means and here he is and behold. You're basically bringing something to your attention. So if you say is Rebecca, like and there Rebecca came out. Also hepe means behold. And you'll see them a lot in the Gospels because we use them all the time. Is just means like here, like and there is your sister, or here is your sister. It's just called is. And we learned about the intensive pronouns, which basically just means like my own or myself. So I just remember reading the hymn on Sunday. He rose by himself. No, he accepted them unto himself. So you just see like eminimo. So it's like own. He accepted him into his own. So we use eminimo, and then you would conjugate it as usual. We'll definitely see example. Alone, emawat, not as in like sitting alone, but rather than like he alone, like we mentioned, he alone does great wonders. Spirit of Shirin, emawat, he who alone created this. That's how we would use it. We use hope. It also means like also as well, or also means like myself. We say anon home tentob, and we too as well. Can also mean and you also. We learn about the ereo. That's how we say with each other. It follows really well if you actually follow the standard Arabic. It's the same like with each other. Use ereo, and then you can conjugate it with the regular possessive. So we played with each other. So kind of like saying we played with ourselves. So nen ereo. They fought against themselves. So we say it was like new ereo. We learned about another uses of K. We learned that also means two as well, but also it can mean two. So you can say PK Romi, it means the other man, or you can say the man too, as in the context. We mentioned that in liturgy, we say PK Apot, so the cup too. Learned about Ro. Learned about the different way prepositions can mean related to different parts of the body. I don't remember why they're mentioned again, but we talked about this last week. And then direction adverbs. And you learn that more as you get into readings. And that's it. Big summaries last week.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark, for the recap. I think Ben is going to be coming sometime soon. And there's 19 questions, and then there's a saying from the fathers. So I would say let's just stick with the 3 per each person. That should be enough for all of us. I'm going to start in reverse order with Randy for the first 3.
Right. Thank you, David. So first one is Nimpa pe ramenuti e shamut erof je Ioannis. And that is, so it's a question. Who is this man of God who is called John? And unless I'm mistaken, I think Ioannis in Bohairic is typically spelled without the hori.
Yes. No, you are. Yeah, you're right. Also, ramenuti. I think in Bohairic they use a different word. Tibius. Anyway, I think they use a different word for rather than ramenuti. No, minuti. Sorry. Ramenuti is fine. They use a different word for minuti. Sorry, but you are right about Johannes.
Okay. Number 2, Ntof de Hof Naisharon. I'm sorry, let me start over. Ntof de Hof Naisharon Chen Pirasti. And that is, and he too will come to us tomorrow, or maybe even the next day.
The morrow, yeah. However you'd like to translate it. It's happening tomorrow.
Okay. Third one, Anhei Erof et Moshi Mawat e Epium. We found him walking by himself to the sea.
Yep, sounds good. All right, thank you very much, Randy. Mark, do you want to tackle the next 3? I don't know what's going on with what he labels as 5 and 6. I don't know why he did that.
It's kind of weird. Okay, I don't know if you combine them. Ne. Okay, so it's a converter that tells us it's in the past. Perfect. Share. Looks like it's going to be a fact. Ni monachos. So the monks. Looks like they used to do something. T. Nu hoben ever. T hob ever. That means they're selling. So that would mean so far the monks used to sell. Nu, that would be there. Hobengij, work of hand, so like handicrafts. So this is how their handicrafts. Pen ni eho. Emao, it should be, I think it should be etemao, right? And like in those days. I'll probably guess there's actually a typo, it should be etemao. I'll go with in those days. Because it wouldn't be in the days.
There.
Probably in those days. Oh, unless you wanted to say they sold the handicrafts there. That would work. But I don't know what in the days would mean. Probably in those days would probably make more sense.
Probably what it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Nare. That tells me imperfect and a verb is coming. Unishti. I like this because you can do like English. A great mesh, a great crowd or multitude. Thought means gather. That means probably means used to. No, used to. Sorry, not sorry. So just like gathered. Probably means used to, right? Or was gathered. So we're just not was gathered herein. So it's like at untranslatable at the door of his house. Yeah. A great crowd was gathered because it's imperfect rather than gathers was gathered. So more like a background information. All right. The next one we have Emper Jem Ariki Eroy Payot MP Erli. So Emper is do not. So we know it's imperative, but for the past, for the negation, do not. Jem is find, Ariki is blame. I think Jem Ariki is do not find blame, which means like don't blame me, Payot, my father, just like that. MP, I didn't. That's the past. So like I didn't. Then what? Er is do. So I didn't do. He like anything. So I didn't do anything. So don't blame me, father. I didn't do anything.
Yep. So, perfect. Sounds good.
Right.
And then I'll try and tackle the next three. En ruhi apison ektef on a teferi.
No, let me fix it for you. Let's go with this.
Off.
Yeah. If you want it to be more Bohairic, actually, I'll go with this. I'm convinced this is more. I mean, both are right. I could be wrong, but I'm convinced this is more Bohairic.
Tough stuff. Okay.
But stuff also works.
En ruhi. Is that not an evening?
Yeah, in the evening.
In the evening, the brother. Tough stuff.
Or tough.
Hmm?
Or tough.
Or tough?
Tough. Like the same spelling as in the book, but with an O.
I'm not recognizing tough stuff. I know it's the f is referring to the brother. It's supposed to be turn? You guys are muted on my side. Did I actually mute you guys?
Sorry. I meant return.
Return.
That's tough.
In the evening, the brother returned on. I can't think of on. Again. Tim again to his room. In the evening, the brother returned again to his room.
Or cell, because he's a monk.
Or cell. A monthly propetes shep pen peftimi emin amof. It is nothing. Yeah, no thing to in the prophets. Yeah, prophets. Took in his city himself. Just wait. The ship's supposed to be from shop.
Yes.
Okay. No. I'm not understanding the propitis. I know profit. I know it's profits and then anything. But like, is it nothing in? Any profit returned in his
Shop is not returned.
shop is not return?
What's shop?
I am forgetting. Receive. Okay. Any profit received in his city, his own city.
Yeah, so you got this right. So that's his own village. What is no any profit? How would you say it better in English?
No profit.
Yeah, you got it. So no. Okay. And what's shape? What's shop?
Shop is to receive.
To receive or to receive or to accept.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the qualitative of to receive? Something is
Received.
Now put it all together.
No
Or
profit
other meaning for shape. So it's received or
or accept. Okay. So
okay. Try again.
no profit is accepted in his own city or home city.
Yeah. No profit accepted in his own village. Yeah. In his, and then imine move actually comes early. So in English, in his own village. So like in his village, on him, like of him. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anok de hoi ti nahitot eschai en isaji shopi. I de ho. I myself.
Mm-hmm.
I will. He taught.
It's one thing they shouldn't have this.
He taught. I'm not recognizing he taught.
Start.
Start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or begin to.
I myself will begin to write the words. What is it? Ital Shopi, which they happen, but it's probably not that. It's probably I forget the name of it. The
You have it right.
which they happened. The things which happened.
Yeah. The
Okay.
thing. So one of the meaning of one of the word meaning inside means words, but also means like the things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so what's the deal? What are we talking about? And it doesn't literally mean words. It could be like, oh, I'm buying a car. So the actions, the things.
All right. Thank you for the assistance. Akiri and talk imawat. You do this yourself or
Not yourself.
your own self? I mean, you do this by yourself?
Yeah, but like by yourself, yeah, it works. Just the text is using like alone.
Alone. Okay.
So it's like saying so basically literally it's like you did these you alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means.
Okay. All right. You've done you did this Yes. You did this by your own self.
You alone. Keep
You
it.
alone.
You alone. Yeah, keep it simple.
Okay, thank you. And the next three should be Randy.
Okay. Afkarof. Mpef erwochli. Or mpef erwochli. So let me try that again. Afkarof. Mpef erwochli. So he has shut his mouth, literally,
Mm-hmm.
and he has not answered anything. So more loosely, he became silent and didn't respond.
Would it be anything or anyone, or we don't know? It's ambiguous.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure about the grammar here, because something like chli, like that's a specifier, it usually needs like unless the erwo is like prefixed directly to chli, I would expect maybe like enchli or something.
I'm guessing he probably meant, yeah, he could have meant a pre-nominal. Could be.
Yeah, because I don't think woe doesn't have a prenominal. I don't think so.
Makes
I think
sense.
the only way it would work is if you just put like something between woe and chli.
So you go something like N.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure though.
Mhm.
Okay. Ioannis de Hof af moon vol efwech he pshaje or pshafe. So and John too remained living in the desert. I think that's correct.
Yeah, good.
Shafe, I think, yeah, because the
Yeah, Shafik Desert, yeah.
yeah. Etere ruhide shopi nepmatidis.
Wait, it's not Etere. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, that didn't seem correct.
Yeah. That'll be Eta, just Eta.
And some of the end there is cut off for me. Oh, there we go. So etaruhide shopi nepmatidis autoti chen bima et amal. And when evening came, his disciples gathered in that place. I think I did 3 already. 1, 2.
That's good.
Yeah, that should be 3. Next 3 should be for Mark.
Okay. Enti wash an etrek show and paima kotek epic a minemok. Enti wash, so that's again enti wash an. I do not wish or want or desire. We'll see. Etrek, like to say just that you. A ko, that'll be like stay. In paima, in this place. I think it's a way to say here in Sahitic. So just out or go the nai. Bohairic. Coptic means return. I'll probably just also go with tastok. Tastok means return. return to your AM من يمك, so it'll be like your own house. فكرت. Our hits écoute in unity energie erete affe napo et pe. Okay, our hits, so they started or they began. They began to build. Oh, Ben is here. They began to build a great temple. All right, what's ere? Ere. Doesn't make sense to be shall, as in like if it is our future, because it's in the past. It doesn't make sense to be second present. Can't be second present because we're in the past. So it will probably be relative. So it'll be like that. And correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I'm not sure. So I think it would be that. It's head or top. Let's just go with top. Na. Oh, we can say ere na. I think it's by will. Ho is reach to the sky or heaven. Not too sure about ere, but that's my best guess because it's not third feature because you have not. Actually, you have not, so we know for a fact it's not gonna be third feature. Can it be second present? It's to the sky. It's shall reach. That sounds a bit off, only because we're in the past. Oh no, actually, it might work. So this can also be. But I don't think we can use ere. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Circumstantial. It is circumstantial. I forgot that ere is also circumstantial. Sorry, my bad. I was thinking of eta. I was completely off. Sorry, not eta. I was completely off here. So ere, so being its stop will reach the heaven. All right, that works. I need to remember ere. So help me review ere. Ere can mean what? Can mean third feature, right?
Yes.
So like saying like efe or eye. Okay, that's the equivalent of this. It can also mean, what else it can mean? Circumstantial.
Yep.
So
First was circumstantial.
circumstantial. So say the equivalent of a and f. What else? Otherwise, we have etere. So I was wrong. So etere is the equivalent of et. And then my bad was eta. There is et. Not even eta. Equivalent of eta. Okay, so it's etere. I was confusing with etere. Anything else for ere?
I don't think we've quite learned third future.
Third future is efe. It's the one we did with Kareem. No, the one we did with Casey, right? You shall. Or he shall.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And what is what's array? So what's array? Which is
Array?
in Sahidic it's array. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about in Bohairic. What's array?
That would be second.
Second.
Present and future.
Second present. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Just real quick, that napoch, the poch should have a omega instead of omicron.
Okay, let's fix it. Thank you. Should I move on to the next one, or what did I do? Yeah, should I move on, or any thoughts?
Do you want to pass off the last three for Ben, just so we can have some?
Oh wait, Ben is here. Yes, Ben, go ahead, all yours.
Okay, great. Let's see. So, Champt and NS or N SNU ko nemai ni kakoni de alkotu etipolis. So, Champt. Okay, so it's something with three. So, oh right, the three brothers arrived or went ko namai approached me or came to me.
With me
It's with me
for Nem.
for nem. Oh, okay, right. It's not m or off. Okay, so the three brothers went with me. And thanks. And then the kaoni. Right.
I assume there's supposed to be a dash between the K and Koini.
I mean, it's a plural noun. Forgetting what. Like another, like
Yeah.
other, the other koni. I'm forgetting that word. I know it's masculine plural. It's plural. Companions, or not sure.
Double
Yeah.
check for you.
Sure, I could follow that too. Some other people built. They built the city. I think Kotu. Or no, not Kotu. Dwelled in the city or dwelt in the city. Or word, no word. So coat is build, and then there's, or is it this one that means arrived? It's koti, turned toward. Is this because there's coat build and there's koti that's to turn or to go to.
In the pronominal form, they actually look the same. So it's just going to have to be found out through context.
Okay, so some plural people turned to the city or went to the city, or were turned to the city if you make it passive.
Or turn to.
Were turned to the city if you're making it the third plural to be passive, but or came to the city. Is that Mark? Do you know what a kakaunti is?
Briefly going over it earlier. I'm not sure if it's common in Bohairic, but it just means the others. So K,
the others.
K means know, and then just like Koun, you're just finishing up the word K.
Oh, okay. So it's, I was thinking the other people, but it just means others.
Just the others, yeah.
Okay. So and the others were turned to the city, or went to the city.
I think the snow in Shumten snow, I think that should just be son singular.
Oh, but isn't a snow or a snew, isn't that the plural form?
It is, but when you do numbers, regardless of what the number is, like number and something, the noun would still be in the singular.
So it would literally say like three of brother, but it means three brothers. Okay, that makes sense. So do you think that's a typo?
I think so, yes.
Cool. All right. Good catch. Thanks.
If it was N and snow or something like of the brothers, then it would probably be snow. But if it's just number and noun, then it would just be like three brothers, even though it's just son singular.
Oh, that makes sense. So it'd be en son, right? And then et veu teten mishi nem neten eriu he epmoit. Oh, that's also sorry. Et veu, so why do you all see or no, wait, maybe it's why.
Yeah.
I think Mishi is born, but maybe I'm thinking of the wrong verb.
It's me.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be
Mishi,
Misi.
like Ramses. Okay, right. Mishi. Is it so? Is not happy.
This is
Is it, why are you sad? And
Mishi men is to fight with.
to fight.
Hmm.
So why are you fighting? Although I'm not sure what the verb is. It looks kind of like it's Mishi. So is it qualitative? No. Quarrel. Yeah, fight, quarrel. So why do you quarrel? Or why do you all quarrel or with? Okay, that makes sense. Why do you fight with your Atan?
so
The
this so
the band?
areo is a new construction we learned. It just means each other.
Okay, so why do you fight with each other, or like against each other, in the road?
No,
Oh, on the road.
yeah.
Right. Thanks. And I'm wondering about that verb form. Is it
Just present.
just present? Okay, with
Yeah.
the T. Okay.
Like you corrected the emphasis like Mishi. It just sounds like Mishi.
Okay. So Ted and Mishi.
Yeah. Just learn that this construction is unique to Coptic. By unique, I mean just not in English. I'm not sure about French, but actually it's the same in Arabic. Where you say like with each other, you don't say like with your. It's like kind of saying with yourselves / each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like saying we went together. It would say like we went with ourselves each other. So with
That makes
our
sense.
talking to someone is like with your each other. They
So
fought
it sounds a little bit redundant if you translate every word, sort
yeah.
of.
In English,
Okay.
in like if I say they fought with each other, like them, I would say with new ereu.
Right.
So the passive tells you which each other.
Got it. It's more specific than English, where you just assume people are fighting.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's kind of like how there was a day after. There's a specific word for the day after tomorrow, which is kind of nice, and day before tomorrow, and kind of nice that it's kind of specific. Okay, sorry.
There's an
So
English word for after tomorrow just died, no longer in use. I think
I
there's a
kind of
word.
wish it was. It's okay.
I said I know there's one in German, so it's probably comes from that. And I'm forgetting it off the top of my head. Morgen. Morgen is tomorrow. Or morning. I forget.
I know some languages are way more specific with time words. I wonder if Coptic is one of those, because English is not like, I might say next week, and does it mean next? Does it mean later this week, or does it mean like 2 weeks from now? It's like hard to tell sometimes. Overmorrow. Oh, Ubermorrow.
Overmorrow.
Overmorgen, yes.
Oh, cool.
For morning.
Nice. That's cool. That is a very specific German sounding thing. Cool. All right. So is that Aser Hoti Evolge Peshai Gem Arikieros. So so she went, this is hid. What? Hoti.
Hoti. This is the compound verb.
Right. So it's a qualitative. I don't remember what it is. It's not qualitative. It's I remember, it's not habitual. Just had that. Sorry, guys, it's been a long day.
For the tense, the tense just comes from the ah.
Okay, so it's past, or it's perfect. And
Do you need help with erhoti?
yeah, I know. Isn't hoti hide, or I'm thinking of a different one? Hove.
I think that's probably close enough. It's the verb is to fear.
Fear. That's right. Okay. So to
Even
be, this is be afraid.
fear from hide, from doing the
Okay,
hiding.
so this is to become afraid, maybe. So it's not causative. It's that other term. It's
Just compound.
just compound. It doesn't have. It doesn't have a grammar term with it. Okay. So right. Okay. So she became afraid. Volja on account of
Yeah,
or
that works.
that work? Okay. You gotta be more like a gen, but Volja. Okay. She became afraid because of the or on account of this high or because okay. She
Shouldn't it be ibelje with a eta?
Huh?
Etfija?
I think earlier in the lesson it has ibelje or ibelje.
No, evolge is like one thing that means because.
Maybe.
The evel means lest or something negative. No, it just means because. Or like you said, on account of. Yeah, it just means because.
I must be thinking of the next lesson.
Very possibly, yes. Yeah, it's one of the later lessons. It's like if it wasn't for, but that's not it.
So she became afraid because her
Yeah.
okay, so her face to say her shirt? Wait.
Think Sahai.
Oh, her clothes?
No.
No. So high.
It's husband.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, because her husband approached her or Gemarikiros. Okay, it's another compound verb. Became upset at her. Became angry with her.
Gem should be from Jimmy.
Okay, found her sad. I'm forgetting this vocab. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm finding
blame. Found her blameworthy, or blamed her. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. That was rough.
No worries at all.
Found fault with her. Okay, that's helpful.
Gem is
Thank
just
you for
fine.
that.
It's just compound meaning, and ariki means blame or fault. So blamed her or found fault in her. Yeah, like
Okay,
he found a problem with her, basically.
got it. So it's more literally found fault with her, or
Yes.
found fault upon her, but it
Or found blame, yeah.
blame is a nice, concise way to say it. Cool.
But found
Okay.
fault also works just fine.
Great.
All right, nice. We
Okay.
are back. Let me quickly go over it and make sure there are no mistakes. You can go ahead and start if you did it.
Let me just think of how this is broken up. So how many sentences? 1, 2. Oh, I think each one of these, I think it's pretty nice. These are all sentences by themselves. Let's do one at a time. So I'll start us off just because I'm just for an order. Awai and Yoti Warp Empif Matates e Mehmo. Past tense. One of our fathers. Warp.
Does that remind you of anything?
The hymns are not going to help me very much.
Okay. I mean, we sing it right now. Like every Sunday, it's being sung right now.
So I looked up warp to send. So one of our fathers sent to his student Mehmo. What is meh supposed to be? I can't remember what meh.
It's filled, but in this sense, it's like so it's literally fill water, but it's like literally like to draw water or to collect water.
So one of our fathers sent his students to collect water, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We're starting from verse order. Well, let's do Randy.
Am I just reading one sentence?
Yep, just one sentence.
Okay. Naret ishotede pe weu ntefri emasho. So, but the well was very far away from his cell. I'm not sure. Should there be a K there at all? And should it come before the qualitative or after?
What thing? Sorry, the pe.
The pe, the copula. So not a de pe weu.
I think the pe follows the nare. No, so it doesn't. Does it matter? I think it has to do with the nare, not the qualitative.
Right, but I'm not sure if it should follow so soon, or if it should because it's like following before the verb comes in the sentence. So I'm not sure if that's still allowed or not. Maybe it is. Like I would expect, like maybe the pe should come after weu or whatever the verb is, but maybe it works. I'm not sure.
All right. I think we're good, so we can do Mark next. Unless he wants to be skipped.
That's good. Af publish de et sheep nu nemaf. Af, that means he in the past. Publish, he kind of did oblivious, so he forgot. But he forgot. Is to take nu the rope. So to take the rope with him. But he forgot to take the rope with him.
All right. Ben's next from Itafi to Nu.
Okay.
Just
yeah, because it goes over a little bit. So Atafi de Ejen et Shoti of Imi je Empefini Nemaf Ep Nu. So okay, so and he went up to the well, or he came to the well, and let's see. And he found that that's that the one who brought, or no, that he did not bring, or sorry, he found that there was not, no, sorry, empath Eni. Eni is bring.
I think
That there was, that he was,
I think that should be Emmy with epsilon. So epsilon me iota.
Oh, he didn't know, or sorry, and he knew that he was not bringing, or that no one was bringing them off. That no one was bringing him or to with him.
I think in this sense, empath is
Traveling with him.
is just the negative of the first past. So it's
Okay.
just he didn't bring with him.
Okay, and he knew that he didn't bring with him something to fill it.
So
okay.
good place to see the difference between like Amy and else and like zone. So like if it's like off zone that he knew, but if Amy is like he learned, or he, in this case you can say he realized.
Okay, that's a bit different.
Yeah.
And he realized that there was nothing for him to fill. Maybe not quite, because that's a noun phrase at the end, I think. But
So Ini is what?
to bring.
Perfect.
That
And
he didn't bring
Nemaf.
with him.
Perfect. And then Nu.
Full. Well, it's fill, and then it's
No, there's
an
no
adjective.
no more. Just what's new? What's the word new mean?
Wait, no, sorry, that's not fill. That's
What the same word we used earlier here.
right. Send. No, sorry, that was word.
Rope. The rope. That's it. You got it right. Yeah.
Oh, rope. Okay, man. Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Having trouble with vocab today, apparently. And he realized that he did not bring with him a rope, meaning he didn't bring a rope with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Very good. I'll do the next one. Of Ilri and Washlel of Mutli F Joe and Mosje. So he Afiri and Washlel. I am thinking this is he made a prayer. And then Afmuti F Joe and Mosje is he called out saying this or that. And then the next sentence would be do you want to do what he's saying or say what he's calling out, Randy?
Sure. So I'm just seeing where the next sentence ends. So should I read from Peshe all the way to Hidriya, or should I stop somewhere in the middle?
Emo.
Oh, I see right there. Okay. So Peshe Bayot Pe et Jomos Je Muh Initio Mo. So I think it's the pool, like the cistern, the pool of water. My father is the one who says fill these something with water. Yo, and that's the correct spelling.
That was the one word from today I remembered.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that word before. But yeah, so the pool, the pool the pool. My father is the one who says, fill the buckets with water.
Is it with water, or is mo function in a different sense?
I think it's with, because usually, like, if you just saw muh and something, like no article, no the, no a, it's just fill with something. That's pretty standard.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking filled the water buckets. That's what I was thinking.
So that M is just is that a direct object marker there, or is it
It should be, yeah. It's
okay,
like,
cool. It's not a definite article, it's a direct object marker then, and not adjective.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Interesting. Thank you, Randy. Next one for Mark, and then the last few words for Ben.
Warrantino apimo yepshoi apisomu ni hedria. Well, and intinu, and now, or immediately. I think he means to say immediately. That's fast. Pimo, the water. Came up or upward, and then fast again. The bro mu is filled, or is filled, but we'll see. Filled. The hydra is the thing, the bucket where the water is. I think even in Egypt it's called idra, like hydra from idra. So you can see fill like the jugs.
It's a particular type of vessel.
It's a Greek word too. There's a word hudor in it, meaning water in Greek. So
cool. It's actually used in Egyptian. Actually said very similar. It's called like idra, which means
cool in Arabic.
Yeah, so used in Egyptian. I'm not sure if it's in proper Arabic, but it's in Egyptian. It literally just means a big jug of water, like a big one that actually stands on the ground.
Does it have a liturgical use in Coptic Orthodox or?
No, it's actually used in spoken Upper Egypt. Because they still use. I mean, part of them will probably still use it in Cairo. They would not use this. It's made out of clay.
Interesting.
Cool.
All right, Ben. The last one from Walt Ma.
Sure. And the water MC and the water sat or stayed. It's from Hamas, right? MC. Okay, that helps.
Sorry, it's calligraphy. It's a huri. It's regular.
It's a huri. Oh, that's a nice calligraphy. So filled. Well, it's not filled here.
No, you have it right. You had it right.
I thought it was sat.
Yeah.
So sat or stayed on Hefma. I want to say like in the place, but I'm not sure what on is doing there, or in his place, or its place actually.
I think on is on not a Greek loan word? It should mean also, yes, Mark.
Yeah. You can use it again,
okay.
or
again.
Or also. Just like you repeat.
So filled its place again.
Like sat or settled, like as in like it sat down. Or like
got it.
Okay. Settled down.
Oh, settled down on its place.
Like, MC either sit or maybe even like occupy.
Occupy. Yeah, that makes sense. As a yeah. The water occupied its place again.
Yeah. Just basically went back.
Cool.
Amazing. David, do you want to share your screen so you can scroll?
That would probably be for the best. So let's make sure I get it correct.
Eşopanşan Erpsan.
Okay. Interesting. Can everybody see?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chapter 18, the conditional. So as Matter mentions how he's defined the conditional conditional is the equivalent to the English if. So statement of if. He mentions the two parts of the conditional statement, the protasis and the apodosis. First part just means the thing that the part that stands first, and then the apodosis is the execution of the thing of the protasis. There is a few conditional words in Coptic. I use lis, shan, eshop, je, imeti, kan, ivelje, which is what I was thinking of earlier. So there's two groups, a real and contrary to fact. Contrary to fact, I would probably say could be understood as a hypothetical. Would that be a good way to describe contrary to fact, Mark? As in, like the example, if I were a king, I could say hypothetically, if I were a king. Or just another way to describe what contrary to fact is, or the second version of the conditional statement is.
I'm just not commenting because I don't know the exact definition of saying contrary to fact.
Mhm.
But yeah, it says like in the Arabic description, it says a conditional clause that expresses a wish.
Mm.
Oh yeah, so I guess that actually means yes. It's not like, hey, if you come early, you get a cookie. It's more like, oh, I guess it's like in English of say if I were versus if I was. I think this is the if I were. Actually, yeah, it's in the example.
Yep. If I
So-
were.
My understanding is it's like if I did a good job, then I could get a cookie, but I won't because I did a terrible job. It's sort of like if it expresses something, but it's the opposite of what the fact is. I think it implies like, but I wasn't, or but I didn't.
Yeah, it's like if I was late, you can punish me. But it's like if I were a king. I mean, I'm not. I never was a king. So I wouldn't say if
Yeah.
I was. And
If I were a king, I would be very rich, but I'm not a
Yeah.
king. So that's
yeah,
that's
exactly.
an
I think it perfectly implies that if I were in English.
Okay.
yeah. The word is useful for translating it because it makes it more subjunctive-y and wishy-washy sounding.
All right. Then continue on. When I went through this, I thought it jumped around a little bit in terms of the tenses. So the first present tense, the words that are used is eshop and isje. So for first present, shop tisaji, if I speak. The second present, eshop if saji, if he speaks. Conjunctive, this is for the conjunctive, it would be eshop and tasaji. So eshop, and then you have the int, and then whoever the subject is. For circumstantial, he has, and for nonverbal clauses, ishe with tebne ye o rome pen enaf on, in which all these are negated by the stem. So a couple examples of the verbal. I don't like how he lays out, but it could either be a shop or isje. And then for the if you believe in this, it would be for this guy right here. And then for if you believe in this, another example would be here, and so on. The circumstantial can by itself serve as the protasis. So, entokte and eknatob ashen shenach echon etek tamion. Here, for the apodosis, it can be for whatever verbal clause that you need. So for first, second, and third future, habitual, imperative. And it can be also introduced with AA. I think that would probably be the best way to pronounce it, AA. Then you have, then for past tense, these words are used. So kan, shop, isje. Shop and isje. Isje eis chai noten. If I have written to you. Sean. Shauna, I'm not, because I haven't worked with this before, I'm not too familiar with it. I think Shauna's just for the past tense. Here's some more examples. There's two Greek conditional statements or conditional words. Then you have the future, which uses ishop and isje. And then for the contrary to fact conditions, the protasis is the imperfect. You have a couple examples here. And then it's also being started with ene. These examples here. If it's a nonverbal clause, so ene amon. If not, or if that was not, and for past tense, if it's verbal, it still uses ene. It uses ene. And also, if it's nonverbal, it also uses ene. And then there's another form which is slightly different of ene for introducing a question. And then there is ibelje, except that, unless, if not. And it's more often used for the first of the present and first perfect. So a couple examples here. Ibelje kerapistewen, if you do not believe this. And then for the apodasis, the contrary to fact is is both an imperfect of the future. A couple examples here. And then there's the inflected predicate adjectives. So we have na'a.
Wait.
Yes.
It's actually one of the things that when I read them, it was kind of confusing and overwhelming. Do you understand? Can you explain actually to us more the difference between them? If I want to say, if I'm late, punish me. Which if am I gonna use? Do you have any ideas?
I do not. I haven't worked with these before, so I don't have enough experience to.
Randy, you have a lot of reading experience. Are they all interchangeable in one way or another, or there's actually nuance in the meaning? Like if I really want to say, if I was late, or if I am late, I don't know, eat my food. Which, if I can see here, I can use circumstantial. I can use literally any of the words. I can even use Sean, I Sean. Do you have like, there a rule of thumb, or they all look the same, or?
I think there's some differences. I still don't like completely know the difference between some of them, but like for just like a general when or if, like if something happens, then this will happen. That when you like in Slavic, you would typically say ershan or ekshan. That's the one. It doesn't mean it necessarily will happen, but if it happens, you know, it's like a natural consequence of something. So like it could either be like if such and such happens, or when such and such. You know, like when it rains, you know, when it rains, or if it rains, the grass is wet. So that you would shun.
I see. So you're not being hypothetical.
Correct.
Which explains why, which always confused me, just learning that it's if. In the gospel, the right hand keeps saying, "Remember me, O Lord, when you come into your kingdom." It says when in English, but when I saw akshan, I was like, huh, if. So I guess it's like when, or like when this happens, when you come into your kingdom, remember me.
Yeah, like it's not, there doesn't have to be a specification of when it happens, just whenever it happens, if it happens at all. It's just like, it's just
would a better way to be phrased it in the event of?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would work,
I think that makes sense, because it sounds like a circumstantial type of if that works as when, like if you, not like if you come into the kingdom, but like when you come into the kingdom, do this, or this will happen. It's similar to using a circumstantial verb, I think.
Sometimes you even see that. Sometimes you even see the Greek hotan before the ershan, which, I mean, it's literal. Hotan is literally when in Greek, so it's like, I think that's really when they're saying it, like hotan ershan, they're like more trying to specify when this happens, as if it's more of a certainty.
I noticed some Greek related things in here too. So so a or ea, a in Greek is if. And it shows up in many types of conditionals to mean if in the protasis, and then in the apodosis, it's so in the if clause you often have a in a simple conditional, and then the apodosis you often have on in Greek. And I've noticed that there is con, and sometimes in Greek there's an option for on. You have on, and you also have on. On is generally used with the optative mood, which you don't have in Coptic. But it's optative is kind of like the subjunctive in Latin. It's just more in Greek. There are two different moods that are used. Coptic does it differently, where they use different forms of the verb. But in Greek, you have like different moods that you use. So Coptic doesn't have that, but obviously some of the particles are the same from Greek. So there's this particle on that becomes kai plus on that becomes ket on, and then eventually becomes con. And that looks like that shows up in Coptic as con in the contrary to fact conditionals. And the same thing happens in Greek, which is pretty cool. But of course, you don't have the mood change in the verb. You have these particles that signal that this is a conditional and it's going to be contrary to fact. So in that way, it's kind of similar to Greek conditionals, where you have a simple one where it's if something happens, then this will happen. It's just if then. It's very simple. And you don't have extra markers like on, and you don't have other things in them. It sounds like in Coptic, because there's not the way that you do a simple conditional that's marked in Greek and in Latin is that you use the mood of the verb to signal that. So you'd use you'd have if indicative verb, then indicative verb in Greek. But with Coptic, because you don't have the mood mood is basically marked by a vowel change usually, and an ending change in some of the verbs in Greek and Latin. But since you don't have that in Coptic, you have to memorize certain particles that tell you it's an if-then clause. And
I think so. I think con in Coptic, from Greek, I always read it as something like even if such and such happens. So like there's I guess an increased emphasis, like not just like if this were to happen, but like even if this were to happen.
Right, because kai can mean and also or even, and oftentimes it means even. So I think of on by itself as would, or as adding an extra. It's one of those words that you can't usually translate directly into English, but it generally makes the sense less. It makes it more wishy-washy, and it's not "you will do this" or "this does happen." It's "this would happen" or "this should happen." That's
And
one way that people deal with those.
I don't know about the other one that you said, the AA one or A, but there is. I think we said earlier. There is a imiti, which may be related, or imeti, which may be related to that. That one's more like except for or other than. So these things, such and such things will happen, except for this person or this one. Yeah, that one, imiti or imeti.
Yeah, that reminds me of in Latin, there's a word nisi. That's literally just ne plus si. Si is if in Latin, and ne is not. So ne plus si is nisi, so if not or unless. And there are a lot of words like that in languages where they get combined with a negative and a conditional particle. And I wonder if this is doing a similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's
to add a little bit to a more answer to Mark's question again. So Eshop and Ische, whatever the dialect, those ones I'm less sure about. But the Shan or Ershan one, that's the one that I'm more certain means just like a general if or when such and such thing happens, then this other such and such thing will happen as a result.
Yeah, and Isje looks vaguely like Is, which we had in an earlier couple lessons ago, where it means like behold or indeed or something. And Je, so I wonder if it's a way to emphasize like where it says as like behold, it's like this, or name something like a particle like namely, like to put emphasis on something.
I think it may be like that etymologically. Like I think Eshop or Eshopensidic, I think it's like literally like from Efshope originally. Like there's no subject marker anymore, but it's more like were this to be the case, like for Eshop, like this being the case, if it were
it's
like
related to Shopi.
I think
That's
so.
cool. Like pepper.
At least etymologically.
That's neat.
And then
okay.
for
were this to happen.
Yep. I mean, it's a way to think of it anyway. To at least at least
that's usually what on does in Greek too. Is it makes it less like this is happening or this did happen. It's like if this would happen, should this happen. It's generally how you translate it. So that's cool that it's more literally there in Coptic. That's nice because on just seems just a particle. It doesn't have sense of meaning. It can create meaning, its own meaning, but it doesn't really have clues to where it comes from, really, that are obvious like that, like in the Shopi being related to Heper or like Shopi. It's cool.
And Ische or Esche, depending on the dialect, I think I could be mistaken, but I think that one is like literally Is and Je, like like Is and Je, like
Je,
Je, like that, like so like
okay,
like behold that, and implied like if it happened. So I guess
like that which he said, kind of like that kind of Je.
Yeah,
he said that.
I guess maybe like a hypothetical sort of thing. I guess it might not be. Sometimes it might not be. It might be more confusing to try to think too literally about it, and it might be more convenient just to just think of it as its own thing. Like the more you read sentences that have ische, maybe you'll start to see tendencies. Maybe you'll start to build intuitions about what the sentence means. I mean, that's the only way. That's mostly the way I go about it. Like, because like I said, like Eshop and Ische, they're not so intuitive to me. Whereas Shan and Ershan are more intuitive to me. It's like it's if or when this happens, then this result happens. So, I mean, other than just like reading a lot of sentences over time, it's not. I don't think it's so easy at first to get a sense of how they're used, like until you read a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if a way to speed that process up potentially would be to write simple practice sentences. That's something that helps a lot for memorizing conditionals because they're difficult in any language. They're really hard in Greek, especially because you have three different possible moods that get mixed in there, and these additional particles.
Yeah,
a lot of people who study Greek still have trouble with them. I know I do. They're hard.
I'm not sure if it would work for me. Like if I were to try to make like my own organic sentences with es shop and ische, I wouldn't even be so sure that I would be using it. I'd probably go to like the Coptic scriptorium, or I would look for like a real example where they were using es shop or ische in an actual Coptic text. And for practice, maybe, oh, I would just replace the verb or something. So that way I would at least be more certain that I'm using es shop or ische correctly. But a lot of other times, I can be more certain that I know enough grammar where I can just mix and match words, and I can be a little bit more certain that my sentence is probably grammatically correct. But it might be a little bit more difficult to do that for es shop and ische right off the bat. So these ones, it might be, it might be better for these ones just to like do a lot of reading practice. But it's completely up to you.
Do you think we could try that with, these aren't used for the simple conditionals, those are more for the contrary to fact, or just to get a handle of which ones are used with, maybe practicing writing simple conditionals with different verbs, just to get a hang of that. That might be helpful. And then trying to write a contrary to fact verb and double checking a place where a contrary to fact conditional appears in the literature somewhere. That might be helpful, just to make sure that we understand what they are and what they're doing correctly.
That's how I would go about it, yeah.
Okay. But kind of be ready to change your understanding of something and try not to memorize it incorrectly, because that's the danger. We don't want to have to relearn too many things, because that's frustrating. Yeah. Like when you memorize a vocab word and it turns out to mean something completely different, which I definitely do a lot. So, Mark, I hope that kind of our discussion about this was a little helpful.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think just a lot of
they're always hard.
Hopefully
conditionals are like the hardest thing in a lot of languages. I've noticed it's just for reading ancient stuff. But the good thing, and also if this is anything like Greek, there often are these things called mixed conditionals. I don't know if these happen in Coptic or not, but they're when the conditional, like you learn all these grammar rules, and the conditional in the wild, like a wild conditional clause, a conditional sentence appeared. It's like, okay, but we'll see something that kind of combines elements of different conditionals. So in the literature, there might be like not necessarily basic sentences that we could come up with to practice, but things that are more complicated syntactically. Or there might also be some simple conditionals too here and there that are. So with Greek, sorry, I keep going back to Greek so much, but sometimes like I'll see an on. A lot of times people in my class would see an on, and everyone's heart would like kind of go like this for a second, because it's one of those words that you're translating well in class and everyone's going around the room. And then you get to a conditional and you're like, oh crap, there's an on, I have to deal with this. And it's something that everyone kind of goes through. But after a while, it gets easier once, like you said, you see it more and more and you get more practice with it. And it's always a relief when, okay, this is a sentence I know how to deal with. But sometimes there are sentences where they'll combine different types of conditionals. And I think that's it's helpful to learn the grammar rules to begin with, but it's also helpful to keep an open mind in case there are like hybrid sentences or hybrid conditionals. I don't know if those exist in Coptic or not, but a language is pretty messy sometimes. So
if they do, if you're reading like a text written by an actual native speaker from a long time ago, you have a sense of like, oh, I've never seen this combination of conditional words and particles before, but it's like you get a sense that it's like, unless the scribe was just like really mistaken about their own language, it's like, oh, okay, I've never seen this combination of particles and conditionals, but it's probably correct. So it's like, okay, I'll mentally make a note of that, and I don't know, oh, maybe it's happened only once or twice in all the texts that you've seen. It's like, well, maybe it's less common, like maybe it's not in the Bible, but you see it in like Shenuta or things that are like, outside the Bible. And so it's like, oh, it's something to note, interesting. Maybe it's more innovative. Maybe it doesn't sound as maybe it sounds more casual. Maybe it was like more of a casual thing, and like it doesn't sound as
it's more formal. Like everyday speech.
Yeah, exactly. But again, from our point of view, today it's like there's no way for us to really know how common it was. Maybe a particular scribe was trying to be more innovative, and they said things a certain way that no other speakers in their community said it. It's really hard to know, but a lot of the times in Coptic, you can just tell if something doesn't sound grammatical just right off the bat. Like last week there was an example where Mark was reading something and it said ne, or it said nare instead of ne, and there was like a missing verb. So because see that nare, it has to have a verb. So either it's nare something something oi, like the state of iri, or it's just ne something something and it's a nominal sentence. So like a lot of things in Coptic you could just tell right away this doesn't sound grammatical. And then there's other times where even if you've never seen a particular combination before, it doesn't necessarily sound ungrammatical. And that's where you can just start to sort of read the sentence over and over, and you can try to build an intuition on what it might mean. But usually it's pretty easy to tell if something is just ungrammatical.
Right. And then you can use context and intuition to piece it apart and figure out what's happening. And hopefully there's not too many things that are there aren't too many things that are implied and that just aren't expressed, because that can be really tricky too if the scribe assumes that they know what you're talking about and they leave out a lot of information or they abbreviate a lot of things. That happens a lot in Latin more than other languages, but hopefully Coptic doesn't do that too much. But I feel like every language does that when someone is comfortable and they assume you assume the readers speak the same language that they're writing in.
Yeah.
So they just kind of, I know I do that in English when I'm writing.
I mean, things can be ambiguous in Coptic, but fortunately just the structure of the language, the typology, it's not a heavily inflecting language, like Greek or
right. And the word order is pretty standard, which is nice.
Yeah, and the word order is pretty standard, and a lot of things just prefix, and the vast majority of the time, that the verb comes at the end, unless there's a subject pronoun after, that's suffix to it. So you could tell if there's like a particle. It's like, oh, you just see a verb, and then there's a noun immediately followed by it as an object. It's like, okay, unless the verb is like an unstressed version, like you could tell, like, there's probably an N. There's probably a genitive missing between the verb and the noun. So you start to pick up little things like that, like I did with erwo and hli, or Ben might not have been here yet when we were doing that, but like you start to pick up little things like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's helpful to get a sense of context from reading actual, not just practiced grammar text, but like looking at Coptic in the wild in the literature. So
absolutely.
Glad that this editor is starting to put in examples from the fathers. So pretty helpful. Yeah. It's some actual primary source Coptic going in here too as well. So.
Yep.
I hope Mark is still there. I feel like we scared Mark away. Oh, hi, Mark. Okay.
Right.
Mark's just passing away.
Right.
All right. Just wait. Come back. All right. On to the inflected predicate adjectives. So here are the following inflected predicate adjectives. So we have na'a, which means to great or to be great. I think this is probably a good example of how a lot of the ahs turn to o's during the great. There's a vowel shift in the Mediterranean. Just because you will find an earlier, this should be coming from which was where we also get from per so where we get uro. And this does survive into Coptic as just a o or o. And then we have not ne, which means to be good or to be good. Ne se, which means beautiful or to be beautiful. Na she, numerous, to be numerous. Nayat and nayat, which is to be blessed. So there's a couple examples here. Nese tefsimi, his wife is beautiful. To be beautiful, his wife. Nesos, she's beautiful. To be beautiful, her. and flexions. These can be transes very similar. These can have the suffix pronouns very similarly. Not a, great as me. Yes. Great me. Not off. Great him. Great as him. Nauten. Na'al. And then here's another example. Na'a pet pro itewen. Great is the one who prophesizes. And then there's shti plus petene, which gets us ane to be good. So an example, nane, nanek, naneten, so on. Impersonal. So nane with psalmos, good is a psalm or a good psalm. Nashe, nasho, so nasho, nashof, nasho. So nashe peknai, great or many is your mercy. So your mercy is plentiful. Be beautiful, as in the earlier example. It can be prefixed by et or et in this case for just because it's over one of the Vilnor letters. So Hidromi et nanef. So the man which is good him. So the good man.
Which he is good, because nanef means he is good. That's
I just actually want to jump in and clarify a few things. So I didn't see the word used at the start of this particular section, but in Slavic you see the word verboid used a lot. That's another term for these.
Yeah.
So and these that's
a new word.
And this doesn't list all of them like a few pages back. So it gave that list, to be big, to be good. It was down a little bit more. Yeah, there. Yeah, so like there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 6 there. All 6 of them. I mean, there's a few more that aren't included here, but these 6 that are there, those are very common even in Slavic. So especially like nashe, let's see, nashe, nane, na. Those are probably the most common. So yeah, they're commonly called verboids in like actual grammar books specific to Coptic. And it's important to remember that even though they have a suffix pronoun in them, it's a subject, not an object, and it's not it's not like when you say ratif, meaning like his foot. It's not a possessor. It's just a subject. So where is it? Like nane, like to be good. So nanef is not like his being good or his good something. It's just literally he is good. And so like when you see a sentence like nanef, that's technically a complete sentence. It's not, like his good something and you wouldn't need you don't need to put a copula after it. You don't need to put a pe after it. In fact, as far as I know, you can't say nanef pe, because that would be redundant or even ungrammatical. It's just nanef is just literally he is good. So I think it basically comes from much older Egyptian, where you would have verb first and subject second. So it's just literally nanef is he is good. And then if it's not a suffix pronoun, if it's an actual noun like nanetowe, naneruhi, those are translated as good evening or good morning, but those are more literally like evening is good or morning is good. And like same thing with nashe, like nashef would be it is numerous or he is numerous. Nashe, I don't know, nashe, I'm trying to think of a word.
Nashe nimatoi.
Trying to think if you could do it. Yeah, I think that would work. Yeah, nashe nimatoi, like the soldiers are numerous. So not nashe nimatoi ne or nashe nimatoi, but just Nashe nimotoi, just by itself, just like that, complete sentence. The soldiers are numerous, but it's literally numerous are the soldiers. So just a complete sentence unto itself. And there's no shortage of these in actual Coptic text, so you'll see these quite commonly. So just remember, like, even though the suffix is at the end, it's not a possessor, it's a subject. It's just literally subject is good, subject is big, something like that. The na one for to be great or to be big, that one can be confusing because sometimes you'll either see it with 2 alphas or 3 alphas, and it can be hard to remember how many alphas are supposed to be there, but it doesn't, probably Nashe and Nane are probably the most common of all of these, but all these are still pretty common.
I don't know how much earlier Egyptian you study. Do you know where the na comes from?
I don't know if I don't know if it's like known with certainty, but I think for the most part the consensus is it's just some like fragment that came from like later Egyptian. I don't think it was there earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's worth noting that some verbs like osh or oi or like ashai, very related to, like, ashai means to increase in number, nashe means numerous. For na is like you also have noi. Oi means to be great. I can't remember the qualitative versus qualitative, but anyway, they're related. That's why you notice the n is very common. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but it's linked.
Yeah,
I
like
wonder if it has something to do with forming adjectives out of nouns and verbs. How you had an n in front of it, and all before you have like rishi, like happy, and then you have enrishi. You have like happy as an adjective.
If it does, it wasn't something that was happening originally. I think it's something that came much later, either starting in late Egyptian or at least in Demotic. But it's there before Coptic, but it's not like really early in the language. But yeah, like Mark said, so na to be great. So you can think of it like na and aw or oi, or basically the word aw, like to be big, to be great. And then
right.
Nane, that one, because I know sometimes you see it as like nanef, like he is good. That one is not related, as far as I know, to nufe or nefer, like to be good or to be perfect, to be beautiful. It's just
yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people think, but as far as I know, etymologically, it's not. I don't know where the neck comes from it, but it's because you can have like nanes, nanus, which means she is good or she is beautiful. So as far as I know, it's not related to nefer at all. There is nufe, but that's not one of these verboids. Nufe happens sometimes as parts of other words, but it's not related to this as far as I know. Nesed, to be beautiful.
The numerous one with the one nasha. Is that from Ash?
Yeah, nashe is related to ashai. Yeah, like the one with the lizard. That means like to be abundant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is related to that.
So the N is at the beginning of these is a separate addition that happened at some point in way before Coptic. But we don't know exactly where the N at the beginning came from. But the other part is related to, at least for some of them, an adjective.
Correct.
Or another form. Okay.
Correct.
Just making sure we're on the same page. Thank you.
Yep. Nese for beautiful. I think that one, the se part is sa, which also survives in Coptic as its own word and verb. It's just sa, to be just beauty or to be beautiful. Nayat for blessed. I think it's just literally the yat part is from the older word yat, like eye, like the body part, the eye, before it got replaced by vowel.
Wow.
It's just literally
That's
like
cool.
something like good is the eye of something, I think is what it literally translates to.
I wonder if that has something to do with the eye of Horus being like
your connection is breaking up a little bit, Ben. But,
not being or not the Ujat, but like
I'm losing Ben.
The idea of the eye. Sorry about that.
No worries. I think your question was about, like, you're wondering if it's related to the Eye of Horus, something about.
Or some kind of apotropaic, like good luck charm symbol, like how there's a lot of like Eye of Fatima and things, or Hand of Fatima, and there's also the evil eye, and a lot of those.
There is a compound word or phrase in Coptic. I don't know if I've encountered it in text yet, but I've seen it in the dictionary. So there's like a Yatvona or something, like Yati Vin, like Bean from, I think that one is literally like an evil eye or something. And so that kind of word exists. But this compound that means blessed, maybe it has to do with that. I couldn't say though.
Yeah, I guess there's not really enough there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks.
So yeah, just remember these all as, I mean, they're adjectives, but they're also just like, verboids just mean like they're predicates, like self-contained, essentially sentences that are complete by themselves, but you can expand them. So, you'll see down, like his wife is beautiful, like, or he whose wife is beautiful, like or, the wife, like you can expand them, you can make them relative, you can make them circumstantial, but just always remember, just by themselves, they're just like very concise, like self-contained predicates. They're something is something.
Do you know if they're called verboids because they're like little tiny verbs, or they're verb-like, but they're not entirely like a participle or a verb?
I think they're just called that because they're just like very concise, like inflected verbs that are few. There's not a lot of them left, but they're probably very similar to how things were done in earlier Egyptian, but now they're just more leftovers, just probably for very basic things, because good, bad, blessed, numerous, big, beautiful,
those
things
are really
like that.
Common expressions that people would use just all the time, and so there's
Probably
a lot of potential for survival.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
Cool. That makes sense. Cool.
And it would kind of make sense. Even in late Ptolemaic, at the very least, it was written with the old Sajamef forms of the verbs, or at least the surviving first perfect past.
Yeah.
Right, where you have the pronominal endings on the end of the verb, which by the time you get to, I guess, Demotic and Coptic, and even late Egyptian, the pronouns are on the prefix to the verb and not at the end. So this is like a holdover from that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
What would it have been like a sotemph versus
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Versus suttamov, or however it was pronounced. If you look really closely on some of these verboids, you see that little like quotation mark. I'm guessing it's just because, when was this written? 1994 or something. I don't think Unicode was its own, or I don't think Coptic had its own Unicode code point yet. So I don't know if like the that diagonal double hyphen thing existed yet for the suffixes. I think that's what he's trying to do here after like the na, nane. But basically, so some of these can be used with both nouns and pronoun suffixes. Some of them can only be used with pronoun suffixes. He'll probably talk about that in the following pages, but I just wanted to point that out ahead in case we don't see it. So yeah, for the moment, I don't have anything else to say about that stuff. I just wanted to clarify that various stuff because it's easy to forget.
Yeah, thanks for explaining all that. I think that this editors used a lot of the double quotation marks for the pre-pronominal form a lot in this book, just in general. So
yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Sorry we cut you off so much, David. Thanks for
it's fine.
Really interesting conversation.
Let's see here. I think
you were a little bit higher up, like just one, like somewhere around here. Yeah.
For the, it should be from the relative. So the man, which he's good. If I'm understanding how you explained it, that would be the more direct translation of this example right here.
Yeah, the man who he is good. I mean, even though you see the suffix at the very end, you know, your intuition is to think it's an object, but it's in fact a subject here.
Mm-hmm. So the man which his wife is beautiful. So the man whose wife is beautiful.
Yep, exactly.
If it's in the indefinites, the article e from is used. So nane and na'a. So wahet and nanef. Yeah, a good heart.
Yep.
So as a circumstantial. So interesting. Not let's see. Is there on yet? Trying to see. Be blessed, happy.
I don't actually. I'm kind of confused with this. So, niyat. I'm not sure. Maybe niyat is a different, variant spelling in Bohairic. In Naidic, it's always just nayat, like alpha, iota, alpha, da.
It was labeled earlier. Yeah, I think this is just an alternative spelling where it'd be nayat versus niyat or nayat.
Yeah, I'm not sure what oniyat there is doing. I'm not sure if that's like a.
This
I'm
is
not sure.
a different Bohairic way.
I was wondering about that too.
Is the omega, is that like a vocative, like
No,
on?
just a different Bohairic variation of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
what I would have thought this would have been just like great from the adjectives would be great. Oh, so like greater happiness, but probably not, or greater blessing, but probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
So nayatu, blessed are they. Blessed are they, the peacemakers. Yes.
And go back up a little bit. So yeah, I think it says it right here. Yeah, so some of these, at least, so there's a few of these. Nayat is at least one of them, where some of those verboids up there, like to be big, to be numerous, to be beautiful, etc., can take either a pronoun or a noun. Nayat can only take a pronoun. So Nayatu here by itself, I know you can't see my mouse, but Nayatu, where it says like blessed are the peacemaker. So Nayatu by itself can be a complete sentence. It just means blessed are they, or they are blessed. So if you wanted to say it with a noun instead, like blessed are the peacemakers, you can't say like Nayat ref erhirene. You would have to literally say Nayatu, so they are blessed, and then you expand it with enref erhirini. So blessed are they and the peacemakers. So you still have to put the pronoun even if you're using a noun. So if you wanted to say blessed are the kings, you couldn't just say like Nayat in the row. You have to say Nayatu in the row or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make more sense as you see it more, but yeah, some of these only a pronoun is an option. Like there's no noun form. There's no, you can't say like, yeah, like I said. So I guess it'll make more sense if you see more examples. But and I said earlier, like 10 or so minutes ago, that like you don't need to put pe after it, or you can put pe, or it's not grammatical. You can actually put pe, but it's only if there's ne. And that's so it's not because it's a verboid, it's because you're putting an s. So if you just want to say he is good, you would just say nanef, no pe. If you wanted to say he was good, you could say nenanef or nenanef pa. So you add the pa, so the pa is optional, but only if it's past tense. If it's present tense, it's just nanef without the pa.
All right. Thank you for the info.
Yep.
Comparison of both attributive and predicates. So if both describe words similar, there's 3 examples. Empleatien, in the likeness of, to, or from hos. Ben would know more about hosts than me. Let's see here. Example.
Yeah, it means way too many things in Greek. It can be like, it can be, it's sort of like cum in Latin. It can be because, it can be so that sometimes in certain cases. But hopefully in Coptic it means fewer things, because it can be a lot of different things in Greek.
The impreti is usually just more like or as. I find that hos in Coptic is more, it could either be like as or like as if it were such and as if it were in such and such way. But impreti is far more common.
That's good. Nice.
In the likeness of, yes.
Yeah.
So one
And
example.
it gives you way more information.
Yes. Person wepe impereti empexon. So my brother, a priest, or is in the likeness of his brother. Of your brother, I should say. Yes. It's greater lesson. There's no words in Coptic like the words greater than or lesser than, so there's no comparative greater or lesser. I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, you only describe the thing as someone to express the meaning. You only describe something as more than, if I'm understanding how he's trying to explain it here.
Literally, like no, like only comparative, no superlative. Like as far as I know, that's literally the case. But yeah. So like I think it's similar to earlier Egyptian, where you just say this is adjective with respect to this. So like if you want to say like I am something with respect to something, that just means I am something or more than something, like, you know, the comparative. For the superlative, I think you usually say it like you would say like, you know, I think a lot of the times like you use the definite article. Like if you want to say like the oldest among them, you would say like the great, you know, the biggest of such and such. And there's it's not as easy. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. I remember that Middle Egyptian used the dual sometimes. It has ui, but of course that wasn't really used later. So like has ui greater, like the greatest is like oi or ui in comparison to something. So it's like double. So I think the example was like nefarui and something. So like it was like most like doubly beautiful in comparison or in reference to something. Maybe it was with air. I'm forgetting if it was N or air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's not done like that in Coptic anymore. By the time
Yeah,
it hadn't
been for a while.
The comparatives are, from my experience, the comparatives are definitely a lot easier to spot than superlatives. But there's times where you could tell it's definitely a superlative. Like, you know, like you'll see like something is the great among its something, and it just means like, you know, it's like the best of its kind or the most beautiful of its kind or something. But so not so intuitive at first from an English perspective, but they still exist in a Coptic, even if you can't spot them right away.
I think that's more of like a Semitic or Afroasiatic thing too. Like we have like in Hebrew, you have yoter, and it's like with min or meh. So it's
yeah, like something me something. It's like something like it something, you know, like it's bigger from something or it's bigger than something. So yeah, similar.
Right. Cool.
Then these particles right here. So ero, that's just that one from earlier Egyptian r, which means like, you know, like with respect to something. Ehote, if hote is used in Saitic, it's not very common. I think it's similar. So in
Looks like
Hua,
it's from Greek.
I don't know if it's the same Hote. I think it might be a different Hote, but
Okay.
if it's not from Greek, it's the same as this bottom one, the one that's Hua. That's the one that so in Said you could typically say or Hua. Hua is just literally a word that means abundance or like excess or gain or surplus or something. You don't need it there, but sometimes you do see, but a lot of times you do see it. So like you could just say like something something, and it's implied that it means something is greater than something, or something is something or more than something. But you can also see it combined with like hua, which just literally means it's something or literally more than something. So hua is just like more or gain or excess or something. And then hote would
So
be
that is literally a comparative form there
Yes.
that you actually do
Yeah.
have. That's nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
So hua is more explicit in its being a comparative because it just literally means more than, or exceeding, something, this amount or something.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So it's like kind of like an adverb, like exceedingly, but it gets used as a comparative adjective sort of deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I can't believe he combined both of these topics into one lesson. This is a lot happening here.
Near the end, so we are near the end. Get used to this. There's gonna be basically just like wrapping up everything that's left.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it.
It only gets worse. Well, not worse, just only gets more.
Yeah. And this doesn't even have, so Lambden has the Sadic version of this. Lambden has 30 chapters, whereas this has
We're
maybe,
we're following Lambden's style, so we just follow what Lambden would be doing for every lesson.
yes. But from what I remember, there's not 30 lessons in Matar. There's like maybe 16. So the way maybe it's you might be learning things in a similar order to Lambden, but the way the chapters are combined,
Yeah, very different.
within the lessons is a little bit different. So
Yeah,
it's not going to be surprising if there's a lot of stuff combined in one chapter coming up. Chapter.
it's the same for
14.
Lambden. Like this will be similar to like the content now will be very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and near the end, yeah, expect us.
I think I think there's only one more lesson after this, and it's like I looked through it, it's like 20 pages, something like that,
Yeah, 20 or 22 lessons, something like that.
or 22 like
Definitely dealing with
pages.
it. It builds
It's
on itself, definitely.
Crams it all into one last one. So there's a simple expression which just uses from So sabe nesneu, wise to his brother. So wise man, wiser than his brother. And naaf, Johannes, greater than John. Would this not be? No, never mind.
It's literally he is greater. He is greater than John.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So predicate.
This is also similar to Greek. A is just than in the same sense.
Here's some more examples. Ehote hote ente ro. So AA وباش ehote وكيون. Just need more stress and strengthen. So this would be for more. So stress. We have some more examples. In whole, greater of all. Zinushe in whole, greater of all. What day? Amon, and all of. Pikuji evo wete pi apostolos, the little out of all the apostles, the smallest among the apostles.
I think ute, at least in Saidic, ute is more like between, like I guess among two, but more like between. Sometimes you even see it like twice. Like you'll see like ute something, like between something, like between the greatest and the least. Like between the nishti and the kuji or something. But yeah, it just means among or between.
Yeah, that's completely different than Greek, but I think it's a homophone because in Greek it means neither nor, ute, but here it's
that's with
between among.
That's with a delta, which
yeah, well, but there's also one with there's uda, but there's also one with the te on the end sometimes. That's there's a sort of like que in Latin. There's a suffix that's and.
Yeah. A lot of times, ude, the one with the delta in Greek, that's supposed to be neither nor. A lot of times in Coptic, you see that misspelled with a taf. But the actual one that's correctly using taf, that means like among or between, that one's a lot less common than ude, which means neither or nor.
Right. So do you think that this one is a Coptic original? That's
yes,
because it doesn't seem to have a Greek sense at all. So
yeah, I'm
okay.
I remember correctly, it's ute with taf is it uses that that the hieroglyph is like that. I can't remember what the animal's name is, like the little like baby goat thing that's sort of like reclining, like the ones like you or something. Like I think that's the one it uses. So I think it's an original Coptic word.
Cool. I'll look that one up.
All right. Nouns with possessive suffixes. I think I've briefly mentioned this before. So for, if you had yer, yeri, or yerif, my eye. So you have rat, foot. So, and there's some derived compounds that we've become fairly familiar with. Edrat, to the feet of. Washinrat, walk to the feet of or go on foot. Hitter, face, ehre, enhre, chihra, to be distracted, to take, face. Hey, beginning, twol, bosom, chest. So near to, under, interesting, under
like giving someone a hug, kind of the idea.
Near to. All right, and that's it for so far for the chapter 18. I don't know if there's any more. Goes on to chapter 19 for the optative. We have vocab, and then we have another saying, and this general, and 35 questions for next time.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night, Mark. Thank you.
No. Yeah. No, never mind. Wrap it up. It's fine.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Thanks for all the.
Have a good 4th of July for those who celebrate.
Oh yeah. Have fun, guys, tomorrow.
Thanks. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Work on your homework. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.